Well, Jim Rogers says he owns more dollars now than he did a few months ago. I talked to the investor yesterday when he was here in New York, and he said even though he's buying dollars, he's still bearish.
The last time you and I spoke, I was bearish on the U.S. dollar. I still am extremely bearish on the U.S. dollar, but I own more dollars today than I did a couple of months ago because there's so many bears. Betty, everybody in the world is bearish on the U.S. dollar. Normally that leads to a rally. Now, I'm a horrible trader. I'm sure I'm going to lose money because I'm trying to be a short-term market timer or trader, but I own more dollars than I did a couple of months ago.
Okay, so aside from the dollar then, does that mean that if you are betting on a rebound in the U.S. dollar, does that mean that you also find some equities here in the U.S. attractive?
No. Betty, if the world economy is going to get better, commodities are the place to be because there's shortages developing. If the world economy is not going to get better, you're not going to make any money in stocks, but your commodities are still a good place to be because they're printing so much money.
Now, can I infer, though, Jim, from your buying dollars and betting on a rebound, that some of that has to do with your concerns that what we've seen in Dubai, what we saw in Greece, and now Spain, that's going to only get worse around the world?
Yes, we're going to have more. I mean, Argentina, Ukraine, I can list the United Kingdom, the UK, I can list you a whole list of countries that have got serious problems that are going to lead to currency problems and turmoil and maybe a short squeeze on the dollar. You know, in 2008, the dollar went up because everybody had their short. They were squeezed. They had to cover their shorts. If that happens again, well, everybody will have to cover their shorts again, and the dollar will rally.
One of the pieces of news coming out of the UK, though, and partly in relation to all of this, trying to take care of their fiscal debt load, is taxing bonuses.
That's genius, isn't it? That's really going to solve their problems. You know, there are only three or four groups of people in the UK who make money, so we're going to tax the ones and make them leave. And we're going to kill that's called killing the goose that laid the golden egg. I mean, come on, politicians are not very smart people, but this is just another example of how dumb they can be. Taxing people to try to save yourself is not going to work. Now, they should have gone bankrupt. They shouldn't be having these bonuses. But since they do have the bonus, since the government said, okay, guys, stay in business, make a lot of money to repair your balance sheets. Well, now that they've done what the government said, now the government says, well, now we're going to tax you.